it's going to be touring up. It's fine.
Yeah.
That was great. All the beatbox was formed and they went on tour. He just checked out as elusively as he appeared.
The hardest part of the film was trying to eliminate the interesting little like cul-de-sacs in the story. Like there's a whole story about Rick Rubin. There's a whole story about Balkan Beatbox. There's a whole story about. I mean, the band has a lot of story, and so the hardest part was sort of like consolidating it literally to like now I have.
Yeah, everything eliminated is another match, and because Eric, who's not here, Eric Wannerer is a brilliant storytelling and producer and film screenwriter, essentially. And he worked with material a lot to take out, he was a brutal editor, and I'm a fan of brutal editing. So, I'm not one of those people who like, write, all these lines and songs, and they're like, oh, we gotta keep them all in. It's like, no, keep the best and let everything else go. And so Eric chopped out so much stuff that we thought was essential, like, film and
there's a 16-hour version of the story.
Yeah. So anything that was fucking with just this beam, beam of light energy of the film was left out. At the same time, interestingly, like Leo, he's in the footage of Leo just joined the band like for good.
Our story goes back 20 years.
But Leo and I have been going back 20 years, 21 years back. Yeah, when I produced Leo's first band, International. And so I'm playing CBGB, and so there was this connection. And so, mystically, he's already in the footage playing in the Riot Fest. It's all hooked up in a punk rock ether.
Because Boris got COVID.
Boris got COVID, couldn't be there. Leo came in represented.
One thing I would pass on is anybody that wants to make a music documentary about a big band is that everything changes like every 6 months. So it's very different. Make a documentary about a small band like the Strokes, like the Ramones, a 4-person band, 3-person band. That's the way to go. But actually, the story. I mean, it was like most of the story was just tracking who's in the band, who's coming, who's going, where they came from. Like that's interesting enough. That was the whole story.
And of course, even super amazing details about like 242 Main, from Bordello, Vermont, that punk hardcore club. We even left out Bernie Sanders in backer.
Yeah.
The club was started by Gene and Bernie Sanders. I was like, you can't fucking leave this shit out.
We left out Bernie Sanders, we left out Rick Rubin, we left out Madonna for the most part. I mean, Madonna is like in the movie, but
yeah, you ruined the film.
There's a whole movie just about recording Disney with Steve Albini. Yeah. That could have happened too. There's 30 hours of footage of Steve Albini. Rest in peace.
Yeah, Steve was definitely a huge influence on the band and kind of a saint, patron saint of the band in a lot of ways because it's like anything you do that's complex, people's psychology is wired that way that they're gonna hold your best parts against your less good parts, and it's just being so theatrical as a band, our music unfortunately was kind of like in the shadow because people are just too fucking stupid basically. Like, they go and see something visceral and visual and then like that's all they absorb. While like the whole thing that holds it together is actually the music. So Steve was just kind of like, he had this like philosophical point. It's like, you don't want to over theatralize your music, however adjective is. It's like, let's make it less theatrical. Make it less theatrical, make it more documentary-like. And so that Gypsy Punch record is really, was a really less theatrical and more boiled down to the core record, in that sense,
There's a bit of footage that's not in the film that I really wanted to put in there and tell you about.